I'll go ahead and get started. Well, good morning, and thank you for joining today's Private Cloud Business Edition. My name is John Monahan. I'm the President and CEO for Convergent Technologies Group. So welcome. So for 20 years, Convergent has been an exclusive HPE partner delivering HPE solutions. And our goal today is to put together a technical presentation seminar. If you go to our website, you'll see that we've got some other past events that are posted. We try to make this very informative from a technical aspect and not the traditional sales presentations. So I hope you find today's presentation informative. You might find it helps meet some business challenges, but we look forward to ongoing conversations and showing more solutions as we build a partnership based on trust. And I think you'll see the expertise from the technical standpoint for CTG. So I'd like to introduce Matt Herron with HPE to provide the solution overview, and we can go ahead and get started. Matt, take it away.
Thank you. I appreciate it, John. So I'm going to share my screen for everybody. And this morning, we're going to be talking about HPE Private Cloud Business Edition. By way of introduction, my name is Matt Herron. I work for the storage business unit, part of hybrid cloud here at HPE, doing product management and technical marketing engineering. So this is a very unique solution in the marketplace, and we'll kind of go in why. We'll do some setup as to some of the problems we saw, what we tried to counter with those problems. And we'll talk even a little bit, just very small, because I know there'll be more expanding on it, about alternative hypervisor options that are part of this as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig in, and we'll go from there. So the reality is that in most IT organizations, especially from a virtualization standpoint, because Private Cloud Business Edition is really designed for your virtualized workloads. So we see a lot of complexity, especially with mergers, acquisitions, divestitures, IT teams, whether they're getting smaller, larger, expanding, AI being brought in, and trying to use that for automation and orchestration and just different pieces and learning. So there's a lot of complexity and a lot of different environments to support and a lot of different things to do. And that can include edge locations, that can include your core locations, as well as even the hyperscalers or cloud locations if you're using those. The funny thing is as they get more complex, what happens on the other end? Well, you got to cut costs. We need to lower costs. And then the constant firefighting. And I don't really even have to tell you about that. And then just the diverse environment. So these are the most realities. And it may be one of these or all of these that kind of affect you. And so when we were looking at the marketplace, and as we continue to evolve, as the marketplace continues to evolve and what our customer environments continue to evolve, we felt this was a good solution. And there's a few reasons. One is because this is what most environments look like. You have maybe some edge sites, you may have a data center site, you may have public cloud. You may have one of those, you may have all of these, whatever. But the point is there's a hybrid operating model. You're usually managing multiple sites or multiple environments within a singular site, but there's still that kind of lays to the complexity in some that what we're seeing. So you need to take care of all of these. And this really depends on the size of your environment. If you're a smaller customer and you don't have as diverse of an environment, your focus may be just on the data center. Well, cool, we got you. But if you're larger, you do have multiple sites, maybe it's multiple smaller sites, do deal with all of these, guess what? We got you there too. And that's the point of it. HPE can be your partner to help you out in all of these situations. So kind of let's get into it. Our solution, one platform, one experience. And as I tell our customers, one browser, one login to basically manage your whole environment. And you see a bunch of different tiles and squares here, but our focus is on the Private Cloud Business Edition. So basically, no matter if you have cloud locations, edge locations, core locations, it's all managed the same from a single dashboard. We'll have a demo later that shows what that looks like. But the point is, I can manage my entire environment, my VMs, no matter where they're located. If I have EC2 instances or Azure Compute instances in the cloud, I can manage them there directly from this hybrid cloud platform experience. And I don't have to log in multiple times. A lot of our competitors love to do managers of managers of managers. This is just a manager. So hierarchically, it just makes a lot more sense. What does it look like? It's basically a few different solutions. We'll dig into the solutions in a second, but let's just tee this up. So we have an on-prem solution, which is based on our HPE Alletra MP B10000. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, I'll kind of explain it in a second. We have, for edge locations or smaller core locations, we have HPE SimpliVity. Again, I'll go into a little bit more detail on what that is. And then we have public clouds, AWS and Azure. If you don't know what those are, I'm not going to go into detail on those. But the point is, we have VM vending. We have an easy to use dashboard. We have an easy to use platform to where literally based on templates in your environment, you can spin up virtual machines and decide where those virtual machines need to be very easily. So if you have multiple sites, multiple environments, or just a singular site, again, same level of management. And then you can do that across the entire portfolio. Now, in effect, you may say, okay, I can already do this. That's great. But we added pretty colors, so that helps out as well. But no, in reality, we also do a lot with your updates and things. And again, we'll go into a little bit more detail on that. So let's talk about virtualization as well. This is another way where the VM tax is kind of increased. So regardless of the one dashboard and the singular platform, if you're still paying a premium for it, sometimes it can be a pain point. And what we've seen, and a lot of customers have told us, and we've actually seen this real life, even at HPE, our VMware bill went up as well. And so the trying to find an alternative that was production ready, that was enterprise ready, that you could use. And so fortunately, with the adoption of HPE Morpheus Enterprise, and we launched the HPE Morpheus VM Essential software. This gives you a per socket licensed hypervisor. It works for HPE or non-HPE. The cool thing is it's already integrated into the Private Cloud Business Edition stack, so you really don't have to worry about a lot more. And it helps simplify across management because guess what? This can also manage vCenter. So if you have multiple environments, you can actually run your environments in parallel. And with the built-in migration tool, you can migrate and do what you need instead of having to do a cutover. So it kind of saves you time and stuff there. And then if you do need to do more lifecycle based operations, you have the upgrade path for Morpheus Enterprise. So I really would recommend looking for more information on this. We have free trials because we want to prove to you that this is an amazing hypervisor. It works really great. And so for the future and being future proofed. But I don't want to dig too deep into this because I know CTG will have that information for you. So let's go back to Private Cloud Business Edition. I talked about two different kind of formats. So we have what we call our disaggregated HCI. We love to use different terms. So disaggregated HCI, think of it as kind of a three-tier architecture that's been wrapped in software and made to run like a hyper-converged infrastructure, but it allows you to grow at an individual pace, meaning if you need to grow compute, you just grow compute. If you need to grow storage, you can even just grow a disk at a time as you need to move up. And we'll expand in another slide on what the B10000 enables you to do that from that environment. If you want a smaller footprint, or you're looking to do kind of more of a stretch cluster scenario, and you want that all in one, then we have HPE SimpliVity. Or you can have both. And again, they both can be managed from this singular platform for your VMware environments. And it doesn't matter where they are in the world. It just makes it easy to manage. So what are the components of the disaggregated HCI platform on Private Cloud Business Edition? Well, it's basically switches. You don't have to use our switches. You don't even have to buy switches if you don't want to. You're welcome to bring your own. If you do use the Aruba 8325 switches, then you do get a little bit more automation from some of the setup. But again, at the end of the day, it's just TCP. So you're welcome to use whatever top of rack switches you want to use. You have the Private Cloud Business Edition Management Console. This is delivered to you as a service, no extra cost, as a service, meaning you never have to upgrade or install anything. It's literally a cloud-based management platform, which again, we'll show a demo in a minute, that allows you to manage the environment. When we add new features, which we do every 6 weeks, you'll see release notes. And then with those release notes, you'll see what new features you have access to. And guess what? You didn't have to upgrade anything or use compute in your environment to manage a global footprint, if you will. And then we work with both hypervisors, HPE VM Essentials and then VMware vSphere. You can use just regular ProLiant DL servers, AMD or Intel. it does require 2 nodes to deploy, and then the Alletra B10000. Here's what's really cool about this. The B10000 is a 2U platform. You can have DL325s, which are AMD single socket processors that are super dense. And especially with the VM Essential software, we don't charge you per core, we charge per physical socket. And you can have in 4U, you can have an enterprise ready array with active controllers and 2 nodes as dense as you want to make it in 4U. No other competitor that offers an alternative hypervisor offers you the resiliency of 100% uptime guaranteed array with HPE's known server infrastructure in that small of a footprint. And then you can just expand as you need to expand. So if you start talking about cost and things like that, we can get you at a lower cost with all the features of this array that you can still use for other workloads if you need to, and having those high-end DL servers, and again, keep your costs down and still have that automation. So that's really cool. And that's why this has been an amazing advantage of the market. And with VxRail kind of going away, as Michael Dell says, this is the alternative for whether it's a VMware environment or you want an alternative hypervisor and don't want to pay the VMware tax. This gives you that alternative solution. Really solid. And that's why the marketplace has taken notice. We're seeing such an uptick in customers wanting this solution, not just because of the alternative hypervisor, but just because of the flexibility, and then the cost entry point really helps. So with that, you still get our full stack AI ops as well to make the decisions that you don't want to make or don't have to make. So let's explain a little bit about the Alletra MP. Why is the Alletra MP different, and why is it so critical and pivotal to the Private Cloud Business Edition platform? Simply put, it allows you to scale what you need to scale, when you need to scale, in small increments. Traditional storage, which is basically every other competitor out there, sells you an array with 2 node pairs and disks attached. So if you need to upgrade or you run out of space or you want to add, there's a subscribed or prescribed formula you have to use to upgrade that array. And it usually costs a lot more. We've created, again, disaggregated, we love these adjectives, shared everything cluster architecture, where your compute and your storage can be separated from each other, connected with a standard network fabric that is built in to allow you to scale at a node at a time or a disk at a time, to be able to increase what you need to increase. This means you can start small. You can start from 16 terabytes and go all the way up to 5-6 petabytes if you want. And it gives you linear scaling and independent scaling, but it gives you that performance that you know and can expect. And here's the really cool thing. We have the concept of immortal clusters. That means when you build storage and you put these clusters up there, you never have to break them down. You never have to migrate the data. Why? Because as we release new hardware, that hardware just gets integrated directly into this fabric, this environment. You don't have to migrate your storage. You don't have to migrate anything. You just add in the new compute. And then if you choose, you can remove the old compute, or you can just take out the back end nodes. Anything that has a thumb screw can be replaced. We're talking about drives, network cards, the controllers, everything that would be a consumable part of this besides just the 2U sheet metal can be upgraded. That means you have a platform designed to last 8-12 years, not 3 to 5 years. And we'll even guarantee it for 8 years as well. And we're one of the only manufacturers that does that. So we really stand behind this platform. And now you can get it to where it's part of the disaggregated HCI. And this is designed to work with any type of workload you want. Whether you have SAP or SQL or Oracle databases, whether you have VDI environments, Splunk environments, Kubernetes, Exchange, whatever you want to do on-prem or across the cloud, we can support you, because at the end of the day, you're running with high-end servers and high-end storage, but it's operated with a singular platform, making it very easy to manage your environment. The other part of PCBE is the edge locations, or maybe the smaller core locations we have to think about. And for that, we have HPE SimpliVity. The cool thing about HPE SimpliVity is you have inline deduplication and compression. integrated backups, not snapshots, integrated backups. And with 2 nodes, mind you, think of a DL325 as 1U. So with 2U, I can give you high availability to where you can lose an entire node and still be up and running without any downtime with the HPE SimpliVity solution. Very efficient. We have customers who may own cruise lines that have ships out in the middle of the ocean, and this is what they're using for their environment with stretch clusters to be active and have redundant systems. Customers that may be in the oil and gas field or the medical field that have multiple locations and need a small footprint, but need to be able to run their entire virtualized infrastructure off this. The cool thing is you choose which hypervisor you want to use on SimpliVity. If you want it to be VMware, we support it. If you want it to be with the HPE Morpheus VM Essentials software, it's integrated, built into it. You just stand it up, install it, and you're ready to go and start provisioning VMs. And it's, again, integrated right into it. So you choose, and then you install what you want, and you're ready to go. Again, giving you choice beyond choice beyond choice, because we really want to be that partner to partner with you no matter what you want to do. And then the cool thing is you have such a great partner at CTG that can help you get this all installed, get this all set up, and explain to you how everything works. So really, you have that full force of HPE and CTG behind you, which kind of helps do what you need to. Now, here's the really cool part. I talked about all these components. If you're in infrastructure, the first thing you're thinking of is, now I have to upgrade all these components, and it's a pain. Guess what? We've made it easy. We have what's called the single click update. And to be very honest with you, I call it single click update after a couple of clicks. But the single click comes in after you get into the HPE Private Cloud Business Edition. You run a test to make sure everything's running as it should. And once those validation tests run, if it comes back green, then you click a button and it will upgrade the entire platform. If you have DRS enabled in your VMware environment, it will automatically put everything in maintenance mode, migrate the VMs off, upgrade everything, including the firmware, the ESXi, switch firmware if you're using the Aruba switches, and it's fully automated, meaning you don't have to wake up Sunday morning at 2 a.m. to upgrade your environment. You schedule the update, you set it off when you're ready to go, and it'll update in parallel for you. So really simplifying the life cycle, which is a pain point, especially the larger the environment you have, but just even having multiple components in your environment. So we've really simplified that. And this is like the cherry on top of what already is Private Cloud Business Edition. Knowing that, hey, I made your life on provisioning easy. Now I've made your life on updates and life cycle a lot easier. And honestly, when we show our customers this and show how it actually works in the proof, which we have videos on YouTube and different things, this usually is when customers just go, hey, where do I sign? Because it really simplifies your operations. So from a little bit of a review, and then I don't want to take away from the demo anymore, because that's what y'all really came for. Private Cloud Business Edition really is that simplified operational experience. You can set it up from a cloud location to where you literally just plug in the hardware, turn it on, and then the cloud will set it up. You have a dashboard that will show you what's going on in the entire environment across the world if you have global locations. Anything that happens in the environment, you have access to reports. You have integrated AI ops that will look at it and say, hey, here's the problem. You have workload simulation to where you can simulate workloads, and you have those single click full stack updates. And then being able to deploy, manage, and protect your VMs, regardless of where they are located, whether it's an edge site, a core site, or even integrating or working with public cloud VMs. Truly is that one-stop shop for whether you're one site or multiple sites, you still operate it the same way and makes your life easier. And then think about the array that you're running underneath this. If you go with the Private Cloud Business Edition with the disaggregated HCI, we give you 100% uptime guarantee that it will always be up and running. You have the ability to have the sub-millisecond latency, fault tolerant. We have active controllers on the back end, not active standby or active passive as most of our competitors have, meaning you can lose components and still always be up. The one-click updates, integration with whatever virtualization choice you want between VMware vSphere and VM Essentials software, and then the built-in data protection, especially from the SimpliVity with the built-in backup and integrated snapshots. So really is a great solution for you who are looking to run your virtualized environment and modernize your virtualized environment. So just think about what you can do with it. That one console, efficient scalability, like I said, you can go from a drive at a time, and then have that support to where if you don't want to do anything, let the array do all the work, and then you just press the plus button to provision VMs. So I appreciate that. So we feel free to go to any of these websites to get more information. If you do want to get CTG's expert advice, please scan the QR code. But now for the real reason you came, and I'll stop sharing, is so you can see a demo of what it looks like. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to David, and David's going to show you and actually put the proof to the pudding I just talked about. So take it away.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. And I'm David Gallegos. I am the Senior Solution Architect here with CTG. I do hold a dual master ASE from HPE. So compute and edge to cloud is where I spend a lot of my time. I love this GreenLake platform. We are going to talk about this for the next 20, 30 minutes or so. I hope I can hit most of the parts that Matt talked about. He was very thorough in what this does, but we'll start here. If you haven't heard GreenLake enough, here is the GreenLake console. This is your kickoff point for all things HPE in your environment that is as a service. So you'll log in, you'll get to this spot right here. I have a bunch of services that we use on a regular basis. But what you'll typically do is you'll come over here to My Services, and you'll see the different service subscriptions that you are entitled to. And if there is a subscription that you would like, if you come over to Catalog, you could see a list of all the different subscriptions that you could get as a service from HPE. We talk a lot about the private cloud. So there's Private Cloud AI, Private Cloud Business Edition, Private Cloud Enterprise. Again, we're focused on Business Edition. We could do a whole session on the GreenLake console and everything that's in here. But for right now, let's go back to why we came here. So Private Cloud Business Edition, we are going to use our data services. As Matt was talking about, everything launches from the data services tile. From the data services tile, you see there is all sorts of different offerings here, whether you're talking about backup recovery, your different storage types, block, file, object. Again, here's our private cloud AI stuff. Your data ops manager talks about all of these all at one time. But we are going to go over to our private cloud business edition, and we're going to hit launch. So when you get into your private cloud business edition page, you are dropped right into the main dashboard. It gives you an overview of everything that is in your environment. We'll go through a lot of these tiles here, make sure that they make sense to everybody. So we'll start with the summary. When you start with the summary, it tells you how many virtual machines you have in your environment. And this is the virtual machines across everything that's being reported into GreenLake, so through the private cloud business edition service. So this is, you know, all your different clusters. Is it on SimpliVity? Is it on the DHCI solution? Whatever it is, it's being reported here, even if it's in the public cloud. So right here, it's saying we've got 5 VMs that are on our private cloud, which is going to be on premises via the DHCI or SimpliVity options. And it says we got 4 in our public cloud domain. We've got 3 separate systems. So this means 3 separate clusters. We'll show you that here in just a second. Well, right now, actually. So over in capacity, you see the different VMs. So this lists out all the VMs and some different statistics around them, right? So you get a quick snapshot of what these virtual machines are doing, where they're at, and tells you all these are on the private cloud. And if you click on systems here, This shows you our three different systems and the consumption and some basic statistics on them. So here we abbreviate SimpliVity as SVT. So you'll see me talk about SVT or SimpliVity, and SimpliVity is that all-in-one stack, as Matt was talking about. It is the true HCI solution. So we've got two SimpliVity clusters, cluster 1 and cluster 2. And then we got one that they're calling 6K. This is our DHCI. So this is the traditional ProLiant servers with the attached storage wrapped around with the software. So those are our three different systems, and you see they're hyperlinks. We could click on any of those, go right to the systems. Then over here on the right-hand side, and you'll see that we follow a basic format in the GreenLake console, right? So summary, statistics, and general information. So over here, if there's any issues, this is a good way to start your day, maybe. Anything going on that you need to be aware of. So here you see somebody tried to do an update. It failed. Most likely somebody hit the button from a demo environment. This is a demo environment, so they don't want us updating it. So somebody hit the button and it said, no, you can't do that. Then the announcements. Again, as Matt was saying, this is provided to you as a service. We don't have to go out there and maintain any virtual machines, any hardware, any software, any patching. They do it for us automatically, and it's going to tell you what the new additions is, not only for the console, but for the solution in general. What's going on in Private Cloud Business Edition, and it's going to give you a full list. And hey, it's here. If you ever want to check it out and see what came out, you will get this announcement. There will be that notification for you to check out. You'll get another tile here that gives you anything on your backup recovery. We're not using anything. It's saying everything's unprotected, but if you did have that service, you could see the integration with that. And your system checks. Again, as Matt was saying, you're about to do an update. Maybe you're going to add new capacity to the cluster. You want to make sure everything's cool. Come over here, check out the system configuration checks, make sure everything's all green. Now, if we come back over here to the middle and we're going to go back up the screen, this is the map. As we were saying earlier, no matter where your stuff is located, it's all going to report up to GreenLake, and you can see that here, in a representation of where they're at. Right? If you're in the Northwest, you'll see, you'll put in your address of where that data center is. You'll see it over here. It will tell you which systems or how many systems are there. You see there's a number 1 in each of these. So there's one over here, or one down here. So depending on where what yours looks like, that's what you'll see. You'll get some performance statistics on the different virtual machines that you got running. Recent virtual machines top. We don't have a lot here, so you don't see a lot. And your system utilization, just a nice little chart that shows you how you're doing, right? And you see everything here is underutilized. Again, it's a lab environment, so nobody's doing any real work, but this will give you a quick view as to say, hey, this cluster is not being used enough, or on the switch of that, this cluster is being overused and it'll be way over here. So then you can start switching your workloads around. So this is the main console, right? The main dashboard that gives you all the information and where you click off from there. So you have this nice hamburger button over here. You'll hit this. And now you see we've got system, virtual machines, and tasks. Let's start with our systems. Again, our systems are our different clusters. The SVT is our SimpliVity. HCI, 6K is our ProLiant with Electra DHCI. So let's start with the SimpliVity cluster. So we'll just select this first one, cluster 1. And again, it looks very familiar to what we just saw on the main dashboard. We get our summary up top, shows us hosts, data stores, virtual machines, nothing running, gives us some basic statistics right here, how much we're using, both in storage and virtualization. You'll see a bunch of these subtabs all over the place. So how much resources are we using there? Again, backup and protection we're not using. And then over on the right-hand side, all of our general information. What type of system? What's the hypervisor? What's the status of it? Everything looks good. vSphere console. So you can launch off to your vSphere console from here. The only thing that I would caveat that with is, remember, GreenLake is a public cloud SaaS offering. You can get to this page from anywhere that has public connectivity, right? Anywhere you got internet access, you could get to this page, whether it's on your cell phone, you're in the car, if you're on a cruise and you got your tablet and you got internet access there, you can get to this page anywhere. But this launch point is going to require you, right? That IP address that the vSphere console is on your private network. So the only way that you're going to get to that is if this browser has connectivity to this IP address. So you're going to have to be on the same network to get to that. So just keep that in mind. It is a security issue, right? You don't want anybody getting into your public cloud stuff and having access to your stuff that's on premises. So the only way you're going to get to that is if you got access to it. So storage, it shows you some basic efficiencies numbers, right? How are you deduping? What's your compression? All good. And here's that software that he was talking about earlier. Right, here's, you want to do the updates, you'll click over here, it'll take you to the next page, and off you go. Then, right here is the workload of your system, of your cluster. Right? How many virtual machines do you got? With SimpliVity, they have the system VM. So this is the OmniStack stuff. This is what gives it all of its intelligence, right? This is what does all of the dedupe and compression, all of the backup and recovery stuff, all of that replication. It's all handled by the OmniStack systems. So you could get a quick view of what's going on there. Your data stores, which clusters you've got, and of course, your servers. What are the physical hosts that you have there? So that's what the SimpliVity looks like. So let's go back to our systems, and we'll go over to the DHCI option. And we're talking Reliant with attached servers. So you see it looks a little different, but it follows the same format. The summary, you got two servers, one storage array, the virtualization, one cluster, 5 data stores, 2 machines on there. This one looks almost exactly the same capacity, your storage capacity, your virtualization capacity, your GreenLake backup and recovery stuff. In your general information, what type of system it is your DHCI with Electra on ESX. Here is your launch to your vSphere console. Here is your storage information, right? Again, since it is a separate appliance, here's all the information on that. Remember, serial number. If you ever need to call support for whatever, your serial number's right here. Your dedupe and compression ratios, system checks, and again, your software updates. On the workload for the cluster for the system, very much similar. You got your VMs, you got your data stores, got your clusters, got your servers, and this one you have your storage. And again, it's disaggregated servers and storage. So you get your tab for storage here. And under actions, this one actually has an actions up here. So you come to your actions, you can run that system configuration check. Right? Again, you want to make sure that everything is up to snuff. You don't have any issues, any errors, any misconfigurations. You're about to do those updates. Go ahead and run that system configuration checks. Everything's good. You could then run your system updates, and off you go. So that's everything on systems. Now let's go ahead and throw some. So we went to the virtual machines window, gives us a list of our virtual machines. You see the sub tabs. We got the ones in our private cloud. We've got some public cloud. Again, you can go to Azure or AWS. Just click the button here. But we're going to deal with our private cloud stuff. We're going to deploy to those systems that we have on premises. As Matt was saying earlier, it's going to be the same workflow. And we're going to work through both workflows or workflow to both systems. It's going to be very, very similar. So let's go ahead and hit create virtual machine. How many virtual machines do you want? We just want one. Give it a name. We're going to say CTG-demo. And the first one we're going to do is to our SimpliVity clusters, so SVT. Next, which cluster do you want to deploy to? Again, SVT is SimpliVity. PCBE is the Electra-based stuff. So let's go over to SVT cluster 1. Which data store? Remember, we saw the data stores there. So in this case, right, we got 2% usage, 1% usage. So there's no real issue with deploying to any of these, but let's go over to data store 2. And which OS template? Remember, we're going to have these templates. We'll build out a library of different templates, whatever those are for you. In this case, we're going to do CentOS. This is the smallest footprint that we have in this environment. So for time, we're going to choose the CentOS and hit next. And that's it. We'll get a overview, right, a summary of what we're doing. We're going to deploy one virtual machine. Here's its name. Here's where we're sending it to. Here's the cluster we're sending it to. Here's the data store. And here's the template we're using. And that's all you had to do. We'll hit create. And off it goes. Successfully submitted. So it submitted the job over to, in this case, VMware for that deployment. If you want to see a status of the jobs, you could click on the hamburger menu, and there is tasks. We only care about the 1 day. And you will see provisioning virtual machine. It is running. If you click on that, it'll pop up a new menu, show you what's actually going on, give you a state. If something halted for whatever reason, you could see the logs. And you can see the subtask that is telling you exactly what it's doing. So let's go back over to the GreenLake console, go back to virtual machines. Now, let's deploy to our other system. So again, create virtual machine. How many virtual machines do we want? Give it a name, CTG-demo. This time we're going to deploy it over to our Electra-based systems on the DHCI cluster. Next, which cluster? The PCBE, the DHCI, the Electra-based. And it's very, very similar. But now the Electra has different storage options, right? Different data store options. See, they named these very smartly, the VMFS data store and a vVols data store. So the difference between the two is your efficiencies and your snapshotting. So with the VMFS data store, every single virtual machine that is put on this data store gets snapshots. You're able to snapshot all of them. In the storage efficiencies, encryption and deduplication. Encryption is not available on VM. Disabled by default. You cannot enable it. Deduplication is always enabled. You're always going to get dedupe on VMFS. On vVols, only the virtual machine that you're creating is going to get a snapshot. Again, this is one-to-one. You're going to get one data store for that system. So only that system that we're creating, so in this case, CTG demo dash PCBE or DHCI, that's going to get the snapshot. And the efficiencies, the encryption, and the deduplication, you can enable or disable depending on your needs. So let me just show you what that looks like, right? So if we go to vVols, hit next, again, what template are we using? We're going to use this basic one just for time's sake. We'll hit next, and you'll see here we could set our storage attributes. All right, so encryption, it's set to disabled by default. You could click hit enabled, deduplication, disabled by default. You can enable it, right? or vice versa. You could have them disabled. This is something that you can alter. So if we go back and we choose the VMFS data store, and again, basic VM, we're not able to manipulate these, right? It's always going to be disabled. It's always going to be enabled. So we're going to go with our VMFS. We'll hit next. That's it. We are done. Here is our virtual machine. We're only going to do one. We're sending it to this cluster. We're putting it on this data store using this template, and we're using these storage efficiencies. So we'll hit create. Off it goes, saying it is creating. So if we go back over to our tasks menu, let's give this a quick refresh. You will now see our DHCI system is running. Here are our subtasks. It's 20% complete. Here are our logs. It's preparing. Here's our task. It's deploying. All good. So we see now that the SV, it is completed. So let's go back over here. Let's do a quick refresh. I don't see it there. But there is our system now. Another thing, if you got tons of virtual machines, we don't at this time, but you could hit this little search bar, CTG, and it will bring up only our CTG systems. So if we select the virtual machine, again, it's very similar layout. We have a summary, what type of system. It's NFS based. It's on the SVT SimpliVity, which is NFS based storage, our capacity, how much of the 16 gigs we are using, virtualization where it's not powered on, so it's not using anything. Our performance, so if we had it on, it would show us some IOPS, some latency information. Again, down the right-hand side, all the general information. What does this look like? It's 4 gigs of memory, 2 CPUs, 1 hard disk. So again, all of the basic information that you're looking for. Right here is the workload pane again. So your compute, your networking, which networks you're on. You'll notice there is a plus and a pencil. So if you select one of these, you can edit it. If you needed to add network, you can add that network there. Storage, same thing, plus and pencil. You can add drives, you could edit the drives that's there, and any tasks that have been going on with the virtual machine. You could do is up here in the top right, we have actions. So you could hit on the actions, delete, edit, and again, this is all basic stuff that you come to know and love from your virtualization environment. You want to migrate it from one node to another, one cluster to another, you can do that, power them on and off, reset them, launch a console if you want to do some work on it, and you could also edit it from here. Now, the difference between editing it from here versus over here is that if you hit this edit, you can do all of them and the compute. You can't do the compute over here on the side. So if you need to edit the compute, you'll have to do it from the actions. So you could edit the compute, you could edit the networking, you could edit the storage all in one go and do it from there. If you know you only need network or you only need storage, do it from here. But different options, different ways of doing things. If we go back to virtual machines, our DHCI one is now available. Again, we come over here, very similar, except now we're on VMFS, our storage capacity, our virtualization capacity, IOPS latency, VM information, the vCenter server information, which storage system you're on, the same networking, storage, tasks, actions, all very, very much the same. Migrate, launch console, edit. So that's what we can do. And again, as you saw, it's all from the same interface, the same workflows, different technologies, right? Different cluster types, but all the same workflow, all the same view. And one thing that I would like to mention before we end here, just in the GreenLake in general. So all of this is provided to you as a service. So from a certain point, what you do is you come in here and you make your workplace, right? Your workspace management. You'll create a workspace. This is your customer workspace. You'll create user management roles and add your users, give them certain permissions and all that other good stuff. Now with this, you can either create these workspaces on your own and go through all of this stuff and manage your systems from here, or as us, as a managed service provider, your trusted advisors, you can create us users and we can go and manage this stuff for you. And on the flip, we can create the workspace for you and give user access to go and do all this while we manage your infrastructure for you. So those are different options using us to help you offload some of the more tedious tasks of managing your hardware and some of your software for you. But those are all options. I think that's all we really wanted to talk about right now, unless, Matt, you have anybody here?
No, I think you covered it and covered it very well. I appreciate that.
Any questions, concerns? Did we skip over anything that you wanted to go deeper into? Just let us know. Another thing that I would say is that this environment that we're using is a lab environment provided from HPE. If you want to kick this around on your own, we can give you access to it. Just hit me up. I can give you access to this hands-on demo. All the instructions are there. All of the information is there. I can walk through this with you, give you the keys, let you have at it. So just let us know if that's something that interests you. And with that, I will kick it back over to John.
David, thank you very much. That was a very informative demonstration. There will be a replay posted on the website, so if there were some key factors that you wanted to kind of replay, but we'd love to have the opportunity to talk to you more about this and other solutions that HPE offers. I'd like to thank David Matt with HPE for his presentation and support, and just want to say thank you to everyone. Hope everyone has a great day.